David's mad.
Okay.
All the meeting orders. There's a lot of courageous, hard-shooting people out here tonight. Depending on your logic, I'm surprised we have this many people. That's great. Meeting to be called to order. Approval of minutes of the regular meeting of last month. The minutes are at the back. You haven't read them, you can get them, and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve as written.
Motion's been made. Do I hear a second? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions. Minutes have been approved. We don't have a flag tonight, so we won't pledge allegiance since it's not here, but generally we do. Public input, mission statement, I'm sorry. Mission statement for math. Otherwise, I have to hear about it later in the week.
Yes, it's good because I don't read out loud very well.
The Middletown Area Town Hall was formed to operate as a true town hall, with everyone participating and voting. However, county officials required us to elect a board to conform with other county advisory committees. Our bylaws specify that the board makes decisions based on a vote of everyone present. The board encourages all members to give their opinions and vote on every matter before the assembly.
Any questions regarding the mission statement? Okay, I'm going to open to public comment. We have 3 minutes to speak on any issue that's not on the agenda. If it's on the agenda, you'll be able to speak during the regular course of the meeting. I'll start on this side. Anybody have any public comment? Marley? Oh, Beth. There you go. Hi, Beth.
One guess.
Christmas in Middletown!
Oh, what's that?
Yeah, it's this Saturday, 4 to 8 p.m., rain or shine, and lately it's looking like rain. But we'll still have fun, so hopefully you guys can come out. It's going to be from one end of the town to the other. It's going to be bigger than ever this year. So, thank you.
Beth, did you want to mention decorating the tree?
If anybody wants to decorate the tree Saturday morning,
Yeah.
we're having an 11-foot noble fir donated, purchased with funds from Twin Pine, Rancheria, Middletown Mansion, Middletown Rotary, all pitching in to make sure we're all decorated. So Saturday morning at 9, if anybody wants to help put lights on, or 10 for ornaments.
Can I augment your public comment with our park and the big tree?
Yes.
Last year and the year before, we decorated the big 85-foot fir tree out here. And both years we leave the lights up because it costs us $600 to get a lift in because it's a big tall tree. And the lights get torn apart because of the wind and all that, and we can't afford to bring a lift back to take the lights down. So we've decided in the future we won't worry about trying to decorate an 85-foot tree, but rather we'll purchase, if necessary, a tree and decorate it down at the park level. And that's going to work better. Getting the lift, getting it here, getting the guys to operate it, and all of that was just agony. So we decided to decorate a tree and have it down where Santa's going to be, and the kids can enjoy it a little bit more. Yes, Marlene.
I just want to make a comment that the park looks really nice with the lights on it.
Thanks to Claude. He was there decorating it, as well as our friends at the back was kind enough to come and open up for us. Susan and her husband, they played a big part. Who else was there?
Beth and her husband.
Beth. Beth and her husband came and put the garlands around the our gazebo, and that's nice. So it was a joint effort by the community. So
who owns this lift? There's a lift that's been parked out there for a couple weeks.
That's the
one
problem,
that wouldn't work.
We got the lights down, we couldn't get back up.
It's a very nice lift that wouldn't lift. So that'll close the comment on that. Thank you, Beth. Anybody else have public comment? Public comment anywhere? Yes, sir, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. My name's Robert Bataille. I am the president of the Middletown Bocce League. And indeed, we are an unincorporated nonprofit association, and we have a certificate from the state. And so we can kind of commence operations and get together and have meetings, elect a board, and set up a league and start playing. Only thing we're missing is some bocce courts. And I've been talking with the county for some time and about a few different places. I have also set up a website, so if you go to middletownbocce.org, you can see some of the designs and ideas. The county has suggested Trailside Park as a great spot, and I have a kind of a site plan there, and I've been talking to Katie Galvani there. She said she wanted to talk to the math folks, and it sounds like by and large there's no big objections to having a bocce court here and so forth. So if you get a chance, please go to the website. There's also a survey there, and get on the mailing list. Let me know what nights or days are better for you. And I've suggested that we get on the agenda for the next meeting and officially say, hey, we think this is a wonderful thing to do, and let's just start doing it.
Let me make sure everyone understands that I personally think it's an okay idea. I didn't speak for math, but I suggested he asked to be put on the agenda so math can make a formal vote and then relay that vote to the county Board of Supervisors before we get excited. I did not speak for math on this issue. I was speaking for myself, and I said I would put it on the agenda.
Right. So you guys have to hold your excitement a little longer. So anyway, that's kind of it, and it's going to be fun. I've kind of been talking informally to a few people too, and I think we have the energy among the various groups, Harvesters, Lions Club, and all this to actually build the courts. I'd like to dedicate them to the firefighters and folks that you know, help save a few of us and so forth. So that's it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Let's get your input in and let's talk.
I'll put you on the agenda. You
Thank you.
have your stuff ready for next month. Any public comment? Okay, I just have one thing, and that is that we've now through the elections. I know you've all disappointed that it's finally over, but the elections are over, and I won't speak to national because I care less there, but I do care about one thing, and that is our local election. When Jim Comstock decided not to run again, we had several candidates, all good candidates. All of them were good candidates. And they fought it out until there was only two left, and they were both great candidates. One of them was a lady that owns a business here in town, is well respected. And Monica Rosenthal and Moke Simon was the other one. And they both campaigned very hard. It was a hard fought fight, and for many people, they were happy and some were sad, of course. But for me personally, because since I'm on public comment, I was happy because I worked to help elect Moke Simon because I thought he was the guy for the job. And I don't think, for me, I don't think Moke was as big a winner as South Lake County, and each one of us is a winner. To have him in the position of helping South County move forward. It's a very difficult time, and if you remember right, at the end of the fire, one guy by himself and a couple of high school kids got the water back on in this town and made this town come back alive very quickly, and that was the guy at the end of the table down here, Moke Simon. So we're happy that he was elected. And I'm going to give him a minute just to speak and thank the constituency for their support. Boke?
Thank you, Fletcher. But I will make a correction. Frank Koss and Augie Santana were out there. And believe me, those two guys were invaluable, and they fixed a couple of water systems. So I just like to coordinate and facilitate and get things done. So with those guys and those two young men, Scotty Kelly and Wyatt Jones, it was something hopefully we never ever go through again, but they were invaluable in doing that. First of all, I want to thank you for the support. If you voted for me, if you didn't, I would like to earn your respect as the District 1 Supervisor as we move forward. Like I said, from day one, I love this community. I was very happy to have the opportunity to run. I know that I got into the race a little bit late, but I wanted to make sure that I had everything in place, both on the tribal side and my own personal life after those tragic fires. And I am proud to be standing where I am today, and I promise to work as hard as possible to make sure that we build back better than before, and we move forward as a community as a whole, and really develop ourselves into the jewel and the diamond that I think we are here in Lake County, and especially in South County. And I just want to thank you for that opportunity. You know, it was a great race. There were 4 very qualified opponents. Forrest Brumfield, who I hold in high regard. You know, I've known her my entire life. I was just proud to be standing next to her at one point, and then very proud with the assistance and the help that she gave me once she was out of the race. So, Boris, thank you very much. I also want to thank Monica Rosenthal, my opponent, for running a good race. And, you know I don't like to lose, and I know she's probably going through some tough stuff. But I look forward to working with Monica in the future here in this community. And Jim Ryan, I know a little bit, you know, but he was... I don't know him a whole bunch, but I did talk with him over the race, and he was a real good guy. He seemed like you know, a quality individual. Just as I said during my campaign and I was running, the rebuild is #1 on my charts. There's a lot of help that needs to be done here in the South District. Obviously, the Anderson Springs sewer system, the Lower Lake, the Clayton fire that just hit now with their water system needs a lot of help in their rebuilding situation, because they did not get the SBA. You know, the feds did not come in and get the declaration like they did for us. So there's going to be a lot of struggles that we have to go through for our Clayton neighbors. But this is a great opportunity, and I am ready for the challenge. I will always do what I said. I like to collaborate. I like to use the smarts that are in the community to help us move forward, and I'm going to enjoy doing that. Jim, and it's an honor to be stepping in and filling in your shoes. When you ran, immediately we knew who we were going to support. So I want to thank you for your service to the community. And I know you say you're getting out, but I'm going to be bugging you all the time for advice. It's that simple. And I also have Boris, you know, who have been in those shoes, and I will do that, because I believe the path has been set. Now I've got to steer my own course, but we're ready to roll forward with this thing. So first of all, I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody. And a lot of you folks I've known my entire life. And I promise we're going to move forward with this thing. So that's it. That's what I have to say tonight. As you know, I can keep talking. So thank you. Now moving over here, because I've been told many times by Fletcher, the supervisor doesn't run this meeting.
Can I say one thing? Please? Of course. I just wanted to say thank you to Moak and Twin Pines for the community Thanksgiving dinner that they did again this year. It was a really nice turnout, and it was a great community event. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate it.
It was fun.
It was good.
Okay, any more public input? Last chance. I'm going to close the public input and take it to item number 4. It's a report on Cobb Town Hall. They don't call it a town hall. They call it a
Cobb Area Council.
Council. That's right, area council. So Linda went up, as did Claude and myself, and listened to what they had to say, and we wanted to know about what they thought of the bylaws change and all that. I'll let Linda explain. Linda?
Well, initially, my understanding from the last meeting was that Claude and Fletcher were going to go to the town hall, and my husband and I went just to hear what was going to happen and what was going on there. And I noticed we weren't on the agenda for the boundaries, so I asked you know, how that was gonna happen, and, I was told that it wasn't gonna be brought up during public input, so I said I'd bring it up during public input, and I did, and the, chairman said that he and Fletcher had spoke prior to the meeting, and both of them felt that it was not necessary to change the boundaries at this time, and that it could be looked at down in the future. And so then I sent out an email to people that were on the bylaw committee saying that it didn't seem like it was a problem for COG for our boundaries to overlap, and so we are not doing anything about it at this time.
Okay. That doesn't really cancel the need for the bylaws committee to move forward, because the bylaws need to be straightened out, as you know, anyway. So I'll be calling a meeting after this, maybe the middle of next week. I don't want to get too close to Christmas, and if it does, we'll put it off. It's not an emergency. But the bylaws do need to be cleaned up from a housekeeping standpoint. There's things in there that don't apply anymore. There's some things we need to put in it. Okay, so the reason I didn't put anything on the agenda or ask to be on the agenda on COB is because this body didn't authorize by vote to give me authority to do that. No one, including myself, can speak on behalf of math unless you authorize it. It has to be brought forward, and you have to authorize the chairman to represent math at any meeting to say anything. Now that's been our policy from day one. That way we don't get 9 people talking about what math might be wanting to do, and we get distorted stories. So I'll never speak for math unless you authorize it. So that's why I didn't. Okay? Is that in your report, Linda? Mm-hmm. Okay. Update on community gardens. Calpine Corporation. I want to introduce a good friend to math and to Middletown. Danielle Matthews has been a supporter of math and the community, and she makes a lot of things possible for our community. So we're happy to have you here, and happy to give you the time to talk about
that.
this.
Thank you. So the community garden, the agreement with NCO and everything is progressing nicely, but one contingent, one requirement that Calpine had was that we inspect the oak tree that is in that extra lot next to the visitor center. It took a while to get an arborist out there. They're really busy these days. We had Pacific Tree Care is who NCO contracted with. They've inspected the tree. They did several tests on it. And unfortunately, I have their letter here, and they're recommending that the tree has to be removed. It's pretty clear. I brought copies in case people want to see it. And then I also did a little PowerPoint presentation, not realizing that we wouldn't have that available tonight. So I've got these out here if anyone's interested. I know it's a stretch, but I do have a picture, an aerial picture taken post-Valley Fire. And in fact, there's still some fire trucks and things down in this area. But where it swept through is right through that lot. So you can see where the tree, it was really hot and the tree is dying. It's actually, thinks that it needs to come down as soon as possible. So I just wanted to present to this group that we're planning on having that tree removed December 14th or 15th. And so I wanted folks, anyone with questions or want to take a look at this or even talk to the arborist, to give me a call. And yes, question?
Yeah, the tree as it now stands is healthy.
Well, it's really not, but I'm happy to have you call this arborist and have a conversation.
I have talked with him.
Oh, okay.
And it can stand on its own for 5 to 10 years.
Okay, so in this yeah, no, it's okay. I had the same feeling. I mean, when the first person came out informally, it wasn't this group. He just told me, no, as a gentleman that I've used to care for the other trees, he just said I would take it out now. My concern is I've read several articles about kids playing in the yard and a branch just suddenly falls. Well, you know, if you look at the picture where they're wanting to put the community garden, it's kind of under the canopy of that tree. So believe me, I don't bring this to you lightly. I've really thought about it and wrestled with it. So anyway, I have a picture here, you know, and so I'll definitely, that date's not set in stone. I can happily talk with you about it, and I want to make sure everyone's comfortable, which is why I'm here today. And I feel the same way. On a brighter note, I was telling Linda here just before coming to this meeting, we had a dear colleague of ours that the Geisers passed away recently, and we all been pitching in for the last 2 weeks to raise money to buy an oak tree from Specialty Oaks in Lower Lake, and they're going to be they're going to plant it, and they guarantee it. If you know, it's quite expensive, by the way, but it's going to be a 15-foot tall oak tree, and that will go where that former Christmas tree was that was taken out by the Valley Fire. So, you know, I have a lot of guilt about this tree. So please, my contact info's here. We can talk, and then you can read this letter. But anybody else have any questions or concerns? Feel free to reach out. But I wanted to come here and give everyone an opportunity to take a look at some of the photos here and maybe go look at the tree. So maybe in light of your comments, I'll just push out the date and we can chat.
Possible.
Yeah, I'll give you, I have my card with
Thank
me.
you.
Yeah, definitely. So if there are any other questions, I don't want to take up a ton of time. We can't move forward with the garden though, with the tree. Our legal department won't let us do that. The garden will have to get moved up, and then, I'm not saying we won't put it in, we'll just have to move the boundaries of it because it was kind of under that canopy of it. So anyway. Any questions?
Well, thank you, Danielle.
You're welcome.
I'm going to ask permission of the board to jump the agenda and move nominations to 8 and move 7 and 8 up to 6 and 7. Do I hear any objections? Okay, good. Update on map on Highway 175 widening. They call it, what do they call it? Middletown Shoulders Safety Project is what Caltrans calls it. And they had a meeting on the 1st of December at the multi-purpose room at the high school, but they held a meeting at 5 o'clock. And that's not necessarily good for the people of Middletown because a lot of people, we work, so they can't get there. So I got the information and I stole the map from them. Actually, they gave it to me. I bought it. And it shows exactly what's going to happen. And I think between myself and Claude and Margaret, we're all there. We can probably answer your questions. If you have any questions about what's going to be removed, what the width is going to be, where they're going to increase the width and where they're not. So if you have any questions, and I'm going to give you some minutes here. If you want to come up and look at the map, and that'll be fine. If not, then if you have no questions, then we can just move on. They're going to move a lot of trees out. They're going to cut down a lot of trees. So.
What's the timeline, when they're gonna start now, Fletcher?
18 years.
Yeah, so it's 2 years out.
Yeah, it's about 2 years out. They've already done title searches, bought some land, and are in the process of surveying what else is going to have to be purchased, and are
Things that gotta be moved.
things got to be moved. They have this thing about a 20-foot, what they call a recovery zone on the highway. From the fog line, 20 foot out, there can be no obstacles that you can run into. And that's going to run from Dry Creek Cutoff all the way up here and all the way down to Poudre Creek Bridge. So the sewer ponds, all these trees will probably have to go all the way. So there'll be no trees there. And of course, we asked them, why is it that we have to have a 20-foot recovery lane, kill all the trees here, and we don't have to do it here? You're only going to have a 4-foot shoulder here where all these houses are. And they didn't say, but I had the feeling that if they tried to cut all these trees down, they'd be shot. So I think that's the answer. Because the ranch owns all this up here, all the way down to here. We'll have to deal with one cattle rancher. And then we also own from about here down to the Poudre Creek Bridge. Actually from here down to the Poudre Creek Bridge. So I guess it's easier to deal with one rancher than all those homeowners.
My other question of them is the majority of the trees that were really damaged were these guys on the park side.
Yeah.
Where these were not as damaged. My question is, why can't you do all the widening on one side here into the park, and same thing in here, because this was more damaged and there's not a whole lot of stuff out there. And they just like, no.
They are going to move,
No.
there's going to be a 6-foot and a 4-foot shoulder. The 6-foot shoulder is going to be on the south side of 175.
Yeah.
The 4-foot's going to be on the other side, okay? And the reason they didn't move this down is there's a big drainage ditch that comes along here. It's about, I don't know, 4 feet deep, I think. And it's one of the main reasons they're going to do this. And of course, it's easier just to take ag land than it is to take land that people live on. So they're going to there's a lot of fencing that's going to be taken out along here. And not all the trees that are going to be removed are the ones in the blue. There's some along here, but there's not so many along this side. There's one there, there's a few in here, and so on. But of course, when they did this map, there was a lot of trees. There are no trees
No,
now.
there's like only between like, I think
So.
100, not even 100 between Dry Creek Cutoff and the bridge right here. And it seems like to me, instead of taking out through the residential side of it, take it out through the park and the building side of it.
They have to have a shoulder.
Well, I understand that, but
No,
if you
that'd be a
widen the
4-foot
whole thing
shoulder.
on one side of it and just put the center line,
Yeah,
Now-
make the whole thing over.
just shift the whole thing over, because
They
the
say
trees
they
on the
have to have a
park side-
shoulder, but if you leave Poudre Creek or Anderson Springs and go up the hill, there's no shoulder.
Right.
There's no shoulders.
So I guess the logic is making sense to me, but
Well, we did get new signs. Did you see those?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Is there a sort of appeals process, so to speak, if people object to certain things?
There's always an appeals process. I've said this before at this meeting. Anytime the people don't want something to happen, they can stop it. Period. They can stop it. You've got to be tough enough to make it happen and get enough people on board. This could be stopped. This could be stopped, I'm telling you, it can be stopped. But it's going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take every landowner and everybody in Middletown to get on this and get on it quickly, but you could be stopped.
Once they're declared a safety project, they're gonna do them. How it's gonna be done is what you can change.
You can
You can
change
change
a lot.
that. And once it's a safety project, they'll never quit. Just sure can affect how it happens.
Yeah.
Jim, why didn't they look at the school area as a safety project? There's been a lot of accidents between Ward Law and the bridge, right there even. And that doesn't seem to be a problem.
That,
I mean, why isn't that a safety issue?
actually, this is because of fatalities.
Because of fatalities.
Yeah, the guy that got killed hit the tree. That put the nail in the coffin, so to speak.
And it's about fatalities, I don't remember the number, but it was
So,
greatly above the state average.
I think
Is
it's
it gonna be
5
two
times.
separate?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
5 times the average state average.
yeah,
fatality rate.
yeah, 5 times state average. So, if you don't have any more questions, we'll move on. I'm not an expert on this, I just happened to look at the map, and I was at the meeting, and I thought that some people that weren't able to attend the meeting might want to look at it, so that's why I brought it. Okay? No other questions? Discussion on area plan update. Now, there is no general plan update at this point, but it's coming. And our area plan is going to be updated. And what motivated me was I went to a planning commission meeting where they were discussing the requirements and the regulation governing the growing and the culturing of marijuana, where it's going to be allowed to grow, how much, and so on. And they said, well, one thing we're not going to allow growing marijuana in the growth boundaries. And immediately hit me that when we did the area, or the general plan and area plan 11 years ago, some of the houses out in the avenues are not in the growth boundaries. So that means if they say the growth boundaries are the edge of the marijuana growth, we could be growing marijuana in those houses. And nobody wants that. So I've talked to our supervisor-elect and told him that I put this on the agenda because early planning is important, from my standpoint anyway, that we get our finger in the dike before the whole thing, we have to put our fist in it. And I want to make sure, from my standpoint, that we have, if we're going to have marijuana grows, and we're going to have them, that they're where all of you want them to be, and not in people's backyards with 6-foot fences and pit bulls running around, which we've had that here in Middletown, as you know. So, anybody have ideas on this? Yes.
So are you saying that the general plan will necessitate an update in our area plan? Is that what this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Okay.
because the general plan covers the whole county, and the whole county has to set regulations for the whole county. Well, I don't care about North Shore, clearly. I care about South County.
So is there going to be another, was it a board that they convene when they did the update? Are they going to convene another group of people to?
I can't say absolutely, but I bet there will be a group for the area plan here and input on the general plan. Same as last time. Hopefully it won't take 5 years to do, like we did last time.
No. What's the requirement right
You
now?
got something you want to say
It'll
something
be
about?
2 years before the new regulations that just passed came into place, I think.
Yeah, it's 2 years.
2019, I think, so
So it needs
it
to happen.
needs to be moving
It
quickly.
needs to be moving.
Richard, one of the challenges is that the Lower Lakes area plan is way behind this one, so it's imperative to get that squeaking wheel greased because of the marijuana to get in the pipeline now.
Yeah. However, I would be less than honest if I didn't tell you that I have an ulterior motive to the marijuana issue. It just pushes it to the forefront. And that is, for the past 4 years, at this meeting and other places, I've talked about having a general plan for our area where you want growth to happen. Growth is going to come to Middletown. You can't stop it, but you can decide where you want it to happen. And this is a good time to talk about that. You know, do you want housing projects up and down 29 in a 10-mile town? Or do you want it to go north, east and west, where there's plenty of land and places to put houses? So that's another part of the discussion. Let's not wait until the developers come up and buy 1,000 acres at a time and say, this is where we're going to put houses. And we say, no, we don't want them there. Well, it's too late. It's too late. We want to have a plan now, so when developers come up and they go to the county and they say, we want to build houses, they say, great, we want housing. But this is where you have to put it. because that's what the community wants. Yes, sir.
But math per se is not a zoning.
No, we're advisory. We're advisory is all. But this is made up of citizens, and that's who runs the county. Make no mistake about it. Because anytime we don't like what they do, we can vote them out. and I said all that. I don't care who the supervisor is. He's not going to run this meeting. He's not going to run us. You know, we don't need the supervisors telling us what they want. We want to be able to tell the supervisors what we want. Yes.
With this growth that we're planning on happening or whatever, are we in any position to put in infrastructure to make those plans work?
Well,
Go ahead, Claude.
yeah, now you're gonna get with me here. The county for a number of years is, of course, we've all known, struggled.
I'm sorry, could you speak a little louder, please?
I said the county has struggled over the past several years. Of course, the recent last 2 years in fire devastation has really put strains on that future. Long-term recovery and infrastructure rebuilding all depend on revenue. And so, as Fletcher was saying, it becomes very imperative over this next year that we determine what we have, what our zonings are in certain parts of our neck of the woods, and where things would be placed at, be it the marijuana business or high tech or low tech or whatever it is. And so it becomes, and we've got a dose of our area plan here with this last little episode, and for good or bad, it brought up quite the conversation piece. But we have to look at if we're going to become a viable, be it tourism or anything, we have to allow some growth in various stages. Now, what that's going to be, you know, you can't bring, you can build houses, but there's no retail. Retail isn't going to come unless there's people. You're not going to build houses unless there's employment. All these things fall into the whole concept of planning, plan development. So as far as infrastructure, yeah, it's part of the equation. How are you going to pay for it? You pay by that via property tax, assessment tax, all that kind of thing. And I guarantee Jim and Mo could probably speak on it a little bit better as far as where those revenue sources come from than I can right at the moment. But
Question?
Yes, sir.
Well, relative to that same thing about infrastructure, and speaking of possible Bocce Courts at Trailside Park, it'd be great to have electricity and to have lights there, and power is like a quarter mile away.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like the time to do something like that would be when this road construction perhaps is...
DOT, Caltrans wouldn't be interested in talking to you about Bocce Court.
Well, like, for lots of things.
Yeah, and that's something that we can discuss down the road. I have said time and time again, the future of Middletown depends not entirely, but to a good part, on success of 3 businesses. And if they are very successful, we're going to be very successful. And that is the Rancheria with their expansion and all the stuff they're doing. Harbin getting back, built up, getting all those people coming and going. And thirdly, Langtree. They are a tremendous amount of land out there, and some of the most beautiful. If you've never been out there and ridden that on horseback, you have no idea how beautiful it is and what wonder development that would be. So those 3 businesses are really important for South County.
rebuilding.
Yeah, rebuilding South County. And he's absolutely right. We don't need any more retail businesses until we have some people. Because our retail businesses right now are struggling, really struggling.
That includes Dollar General.
I beg pardon?
That includes Dollar General.
I didn't say anything about Dollar General. Boris, you have a question? I'm
Well, I
sorry.
was gonna make a comment, even before the Valley Fire, the Calliope Water District, is there a representative here from Calliope?
I don't see anyone.
Okay, the Calliope Water District was looking to develop more wells. So there is concern in terms of development prior to the Valley Fire, as far as water, not only accessibility, but holding potential. As far as the sewer is concerned, there are expansion rates that go into effect. So the sewer system, when we were talking about infrastructure, the sewer system can develop more, and they have a fee schedule set for new hookups that will cover that expansion. So from a water standpoint, it's of a concern. From a sewer standpoint, it is less of a concern.
And
Boris,
if they're going to expand the sewer for Anderson Springs, then they're also going to have to expand it more for any new
Yes,
projects, because right now it's
Yes.
at capacity, basically.
yes, they have an expansion fee already established as far as what it will cost for new hookups.
there's another issue, and that's Calliope Water. You know, Calliope Water has no water rights at all. They own no water, none. They rely on getting people to let them draw water out from under their ground and use it. And at any time people say no, then Calliope has no water. They have no way of getting any water or forcing anybody to give them water. They buy all their water right now, I believe, from the Diamond D. And they have a long-term lease, but the expansion of Calliope is a tough nut because they don't have any water rights. I mean, they can't draw from the lake or anything like that. They have no reservoirs to get water from. So that's a tough deal. So, and that's going to inhibit growth to some degree.
And also, if they're draining the aquifers, those of us that are on wells, that when the aquifers drop, then we don't have water.
I'm not a hydrologist, but I have some experience with the aquifer in is it Long Valley? We heard that when they were going to do the ski lake, it was probably going to cause everybody to lose water and all that. So they had to do a test. So I went out with them, and they pumped like 3,000 gallons a minute for 2 days. And I checked our wells, which was on the same aquifer, and they didn't drop any that I could measure. That's a lot of water, and they just pumped it out on the ground. So that aquifer is a good aquifer. It's not unlimited, but there's a lot of water down there. So main thing is to protect it, not contaminate it. That's a big issue.
But question that took place before the drought. That was back in what?
No.
4, 5?
Well, no, that was, we were in the drought.
Okay.
Now Randy, you know as much about water out in that area as anybody. He's been here for 60 some odd years. So, do you have any input on that aquifer out there, Randy? He's not going to speak.
No, it doesn't change.
It doesn't change, does it?
I mean, we was there at the Diamond D when we were doing the alfalfa.
Yeah.
And right in the middle of it, and it's the same.
It never goes down.
In the 1950s, when deep well irrigation was becoming very prominent, a lot of that happened here, and there was a lot of flack about all the water's going to be gone. The Diamond D, where the mansion is, that was a pretty good sized ranch at that time. Winnock Ranch, they all had a lot of irrigated pasture. Irrigated pasture typically uses 1,000 gallons a minute, 10 hours a day for 120 days a year. That's a lot of water. And those were developed, and guess what? Nobody ran out of water here.
The valley from 29 going toward Lime Tree has 5 pumps that I know of that each one can pump 2,000 gallons a minute and have grown alfalfa out there, I guess.
Well, irrigated pasture.
Irrigated pasture.
Dry grass.
Well, Jeff Gleaves had that place there where DuPont bought.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know who's there now, but, I mean, he had alfalfa field
Yeah,
with
alfalfa.
1,000 gallon a minute well there.
Never
It
thought of
it don't flood.
Yeah, that
Okay.
one's
Back
20
to the
some years
subject.
ago.
Back to the subject of,
That next year, our area plan has to be re-looked at again because the county's plan in 2018 has to. So, of course, they need to know our side before they can formulate their side to some degree. So it's just something to look forward to next year.
so that's, yes,
What would our process be for doing that?
doing what?
For updating the plan?
Oh, well, it will require that the Board of Supervisors approve funding for the general plan update. And then the supervisors for each district, probably what they did last time, was appoint a committee to discuss the general plan and also the area plan, which includes growth boundaries and all that. That's generally how it works. The supervisor, the district supervisor, appoints the committee.
In 2003, when we started that one,
Yeah.
and it took us, what, 6 years?
6 years. Yeah. But it was not well organized and it
Well,
went
I remember a
all.
lot of people showed up to those.
Huh?
I remember a lot of people
Oh,
showed
yes.
up to those.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not just the committee, I mean, the
Oh,
public.
no, the committee is,
They're just,
it's public comment, they have a time for public comment. So, any other discussion on the area plan? I just wanted to get that in front of you now because it's going to be really important this next year that we get ready to act. Let's not wait and try to catch up. We want to be ahead of it if we can. Okay, anything else? Nothing else? We'll go to bring it back to nominations for board of directors. Claude, you want to run that, please?
no, okay. Right now we have, current nominees are Fletcher and Lisa. And, any others? Let me see if there's any other people. Marlene?
That's Barbara.
No.
You,
Oh, Barbara. Oh, I'm sorry.
nominating Marlene
Oh,
Elder.
you're, okay.
She's been involved in that from the get-go.
I can see behind. Any other nominations?
How many positions are available on
Two.
this?
Two.
Two?
There's two.
Okay.
Currently it's Fletcher and Margaret's, right?
Yes.
Right.
And who's,
Margaret's choosing.
Margaret
Throw it
and
at-
Fletcher's
I'm not
seats.
throwing mine at it.
The
You
ones
got
that
really
are
smart.
up this time. So do we have any further nominations? Apparently not, so
move the
we
nomination
move
closed.
that the nominations be closed.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any objections? All right, so be it. So then, next month, right?
Next month.
January's
Next month is the
January
election.
election. Okay. Is there any other business before the town hall? Are there any items for the agenda for January other than elections? Yes.
Should we put this Highway 175 on an agenda for people to get the word out, let people know about it, so they can think about it and possibly discuss it?
Well, of course we can do that. I personally hand-delivered a flyer to everybody that lives along 175 to let them know that there was going to be a meeting on 12/1, and I think 4 people showed up.
Yeah,
Well, the
maybe it
time was
doesn't.
hard.
Was there?
Maybe
Yes,
it does.
of course.
for next month, I would like to ask that 5 to 10 minute section be established to explain the transfer of the Gibson Museum from the Lake County Historical Society to the County of Lake.
Okay, got it. Let me go back to Marlene.
Oh,
Now,
I'm sorry.
let's talk about that, Marlene. you want to put that on the agenda?
Well, I'm just wondering if it's something that should be on the agenda, because I think a lot of people are not aware of it, and so they need to be.
Okay, we can put it on the agenda. Of course, it was on the agenda.
Well, it's very rainy out today.
Oh, okay.
It was on.
It'll be better in January, I'm sure.
Those of us who are here, and everybody came, a bunch of people came last time because there was a speaker, and they wanted to know what the story is. Now that we know more what the story is, I think it's definitely worth it to open it up, because if we have a centralized front and point of view, we'll have more clout. If we want to get them to change the direction of how they do this a little bit, like Margaret suggested.
So I don't have a problem with it at all. We can put it on the agenda. I put this on the agenda, so.
Could we try and get a Caltrans rep here to discuss it?
I'll call Jamie and ask him if he can come down.
Because one of the proposals that was being made was that the widening happen on one side of the road than the other.
Yeah.
And I think there's some technical issues with road construction, why that might not be as easy as
Yeah.
we would suggest.
Just remember that Jamie was here 2 months ago, and then the Caltrans had a meeting this month. So if people want to talk to Caltrans, they're going to have to come down and talk. I'll put it on the agenda because I want to get along with everybody.
Kind of relative to that communication and interaction and so forth, is there a link we could go to and look at this map, for instance, and or also is there a contact for the
If you look, yeah, look on the flyer and you'll see Jamie.
Jamie Maddy, okay, sorry, thank you.
It's there.
Okay, good. Sorry about that.
Okay, sorry.
Did you put the bocce guy?
The bocce guy on the agenda, yes.
But
The bocce guy.
Yes, sir.
Next week, I'll be in the EPC meeting, and there'll be a Caltrans rep that I will bring up the major concerns
Okay.
about this project, just to start the process.
Okay.
We're not carrying.
Yeah.
I said, next week I will be at the EPC meeting, which is Area Planning Council. It's Caltrans. I will bring up the concerns about the project.
And the suggestion.
Not the suggestions,
Yeah.
just the concerns.
Just concerns. We don't make any suggestions.
Yeah, we're not making any suggestions,
Let
concerns.
people that come here voice their opinion, and he can say yes, he can say no, except that we want to listen. They seem very receptive to the concerns of the community, so I'm sure they'll do anything they can. Anything else for the agenda for January? Okay. Remember that Saturday, Mr. Wink, are you here for announcement or anything? We just.
I'm just listening to what the conversation on the highway was.
If we didn't know you'd be here, I would have got some ammunition. So anyway, if there's no other agenda items or no more discussion, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
Merry Christmas.
All those in favor? Aye. See you guys later, and thank you all for coming out in this terrible weather. See you next year.